In this video I'll talk about why I think that acrylic bases are superior to regular ones for NPCs in D&D and RPGs in general, so stick around for that. Salutations ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my YouTube channel Maniacal Miniatures. You just thought there for a second you weren't gonna get the usual greeting, but you are. I'm just trying out a new and different format. Let me know in the comment section below whether you like that or not. In this video I'll talk to you a bit about how I came to the recent conclusion that acrylic bases, which are clear, transparent plastic bases, are superior, in my opinion, to the painted, flocked and detailed bases that are common in miniature collecting. And this is the case specifically for RPGs and D&D, and not necessarily Wargaming. I'll tell you why in a bit when I show you under the microscope for a bit, so let's check that out, stick around. So guys, recently I came across a post that talked about acrylic bases, which are these things. And with the glare of the lamp you can see that they're actually reflective, but they're also transparent. If I move this right there, you almost can't see the base right there, which is the neat quality of these bases, because anything they stand on top of, they just instantly become a perfect part of. For example, if I were to place, just take this miniature here, we have a field I've made. You can place this miniature on top of there. You can pretty obviously say that this base doesn't fit there. Even if you take a base that I've made before in another video, you can check that out here, which is perfectly fine and serviceable for miniature collecting and war games. That fits all right in there, but not perfectly. But say we take this guy, we put this guy on top of it, and now we have a dwarf lord there on a base. But if I were to swap that with a clear acrylic base, and if we just take it out of the glare, there we go. He fits neatly into any scenario he's put in. He can be on the field, he fits straight in. He can be right there on the battlefield and you don't even notice that he's on a base, but he won't tip over, so that's perfect. And we could just take one of my buildings here for when I'm to play RPGs. If we put the other base I've made in here, that will look really weird because there are plants growing in the living room. But if we were to take the clear acrylic base and put this guy in there, you can't even see there's a base. And it's so nice, it just fits in everywhere. And I've really become a huge fan of these, specifically for RPG and DND. I have these lampposts, which I'm to use in my village, but it always bothered me that I had to put them on these bases, because I had to paint these specifically for where they were standing. So I kind of had the epiphany to just put them on top of these clear acrylic bases, and they will fit in on each little cobblestone corner I will place them on. So that made me really happy when I realized I could use them for that. Another cool thing is the horses I have from Mantic Terrain Crate. I have another video for that, you can check that out here. And the horse fits perfectly on the field, it fits perfectly on the grass mat, and I even have a stable, not really this building, but of course you can place it in there, and it looks a little weird on the second floor, but it won't in a stable. So that's really all I'm trying to say, is these acrylic bases are really cool for fitting in everywhere, in opposition to the regular bases I usually paint, which stand out a bit more. Not so much when you place them on top of the brown details on the mat, but if I place them on the green, they stick out like a sore thumb. And that's always been kind of a thorn in my eye. And I really like these acrylic bases for that, specifically for the NPCs and objective markers. This could have been an objective instead. Turn off the lamppost, and that will fit in anywhere you place it. So that's really all there is to it. I really prefer these because you can see through them and they will fit in anywhere. And let's just be honest, it can take a bit to paint a base. If you want it a bit more detailed than this, it can take some time and a bit of effort. But this is no effort at all. You just have to be careful not to put too much glue on it, so you get this white frosting effect. You can see it there, I believe. Yeah, right there. There's a bit of frosting, but I made sure to use a tiny amount of glue just to keep him on there. And another thing to be mindful of, just paint the boots and the bottom part of any miniature you put on top of an acrylic base before you base it, as it can be a bit hard to get paint off of the acrylic base without tarnishing in some way, and you really want it to be unscratched and as transparent as possible. These bases are from a company called Fluid 3D, which is in England, and they come on these nice little sheets here, which are frosted. I thought they were a bit hard to see through at first. I didn't realize they were covered in this little foil that you can take off on both sides, like so, and now it's completely see-through. You can't even see there's a base right there. So that's all there is to this. This cost next to no money. I've gotten like 200 of these for, yeah, not a whole lot. I can't really remember, like $28 or something like that. I will look it up and put it in the description for you guys. Sorry, I can't remember it on the top of my head. But let me know what you think of acrylic bases in the comment section below, and we can get a bit of a chat going about acrylics. For wargaming, you could definitely use this, but it can be a bit hard, especially if you're playing Warhammer the Age of Sigmar, to get the correct base sizes. They are some weird shapes and sizes. Specifically, this pills-shaped one fits within the Age of Sigmar. It's 65 times 32, I believe, something like that, which is really specific, and most of the Games Workshop bases are like that, so that could be a bit hard to find. An example could be these dwarves. Oh, sorry about that. These bases could possibly be difficult to find in acrylic, and if you really like the sloped edges of the bases, that could be a bit hard to get done. You could of course try and 3D print. I don't know if you can 3D print clear bases, perhaps. But anyway, I digress. I hope you liked the video. So guys, I hope you found that video useful and informational, and I would love to hear from you. What kind of bases do you use for your NPCs and objectives and the like in RPGs and D&D, and perhaps even Warhammer? Do you prefer acrylics or do you prefer solid bases? Why? Please let me know in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. And next week's video will be based around, pun intended, me painting the NPCs. Rachel again has asked me when I'm going to get around to painting those NPCs. Well, I'm here to tell you that will be next week's video. I will be painting some of the NPCs, rebasing them to acrylics, and yeah, I hope you'll check that out. And if you'd like to see something else I've made in the meantime, you can check out these awesome videos right here. And I really hope you liked this video. If you did, consider leaving it a thumbs up and subscribe with the red button down below, as it helps me and our channel out a great deal, and I really appreciate it. And in the immortal words of Winston Churchill, I never worry about action, only inaction. Think about it, and see you in my next video.